Okay, welcome to the Lancaster City Council meeting. City Clerk.
Council Member, Agency Director, Authority Member Molly.
Present.
Mann.
I'm present.
Underwood Jacobs.
Present.
Vice Mayor, Vice Chairman Christ.
Present.
Mayor Chairman Paris.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Pastor Darrell Doris, would you lead us in the prayer? Do it anywhere you want. Do it right there.
Everyone will bow their heads, please. Father, we thank you today for the time, God, to serve you through our government. We pray right now, God, that you will continue to give us wisdom. You will give us knowledge. God, you will lead us as we lead this great city. Touch our mayor and the city council and all of those that serve the great city of Lancaster. Continue to protect this city, God. Continue to allow your blessings and favor to reign on our city. All these things we ask in your son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Lance, come down and do the pledge, would you? What's your last name, Lance?
Long.
Long? Lance Long. Okay.
Do you want me to be right here?
Yeah, right there. Just use the mic, flip it around, face the audience, and let's do the pledge. Well, I guess now you got to look this way too, don't you?
All those in uniform, please salute. All those not, put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lance. So where are the presentations?
They're up there.
You have the details and then the facts are down there, right?
Wait a minute. There's a lot of them there, right? Okay. So, how many of you could be on the same? I mean, somebody not attend practice?
No, you have 3 lines of doubles and 3 lines of singles. We lost to 12 ladies, and we have all 13.
This is actually pretty huge. You guys got to be really proud
Thank you.
of this happening.
Can we flash them our shirts?
What?
Can we turn around? Just flash them in the back. Back of our shirts.
Oh, what does it say?
Turn around, everybody.
Wow. All right. That's good.
It's all right.
Okay. It's always a pleasure to share news of our local youth achieving remarkable things, and this evening is no different. Tonight, we congratulate Courts Hill High School girls tennis team on yet another undefeated season in the Golden League. These dedicated young women train tirelessly to continue the Lady Rebels' impressive winning streak and have done so valiantly. Next, 6 of the tennis players will compete in the November 19 CIF individuals in Claremont. What does that mean? Oh, November 19th they compete. The paragraph break killed me. But not before they are recognized for this year's season of victory, led by Coach Liz Letchfield. I would now like to invite Coach Letchfield to the podium, and join me in recognizing this team. And what I'd like you to do is read off the names, and then we will give them certificates.
All righty.
Oh, they let me down.
Starting.
I want to give each of you a certificate.
Oh, that's all right. So, you want me to read
Yeah,
all their
go ahead and
names?
do the
Our
names.
line 1 singles, Caitlin Abayad. Our line 2 singles, Riley Johnson. Our line 3 singles, Hannah Huang. I'm not doing it in order. I'm doing it in the order there. Okay. Our line 1 doubles, Sema Hadea and Taylor Heckenliable, who's at a meeting. Our Our line 2 doubles, Eliza Lopez and Audrey Lim. And our line 3 doubles, we have Emma Abayad and Nasim Tabakola and Veronica Shepard. And we have Brooke Falk, and we have Mia Ogaby. Did I get it right? There we go. And that's the whole team, along with my assistant coach, Jerry Ogden, and our vice principal, Chris.
So,
It's the dream team. 30 years undefeated.
no. How do you do 30 years?
I don't
I guess
know.
you wouldn't know. would you?
That's true. They're barely half that age.
30 years.
30 years. It started with Bill Lenaway. I got the team 5 years ago, but this is the dream team. We've never swept everything like this. It was crazy.
So, if we were going to give one of them a scholarship, who should it be?
Wow. Well, my line 1 doubles and my line 1 singles didn't lose a game.
That is great negotiation, wasn't it? She just
That's
doubled
tough.
it. That is so cool. Who are they?
That would be Caitlin and Sema and Taylor, who is not here.
So come on up.
They're the bagel queens.
The Bagel Twins.
Queens. Yeah, how do you do it when everything's 6-0? Try.
So you're supposed to be smiling because this is where you get $1,000 each.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Taylor's not here.
This is for you. Let's take a
Fabulous.
picture. Could we all?
Awesome.
Where do you want us?
Okay. Color and ladies.
Do I? No, I'm looking at you with respect. I showed him last time, have the coach read it out. Don't hand them out to every individual. Give them all to him at one time. And he did it like that. And I was like, yes.
I know there's nothing.
Last time they lost a game was when Raj was there.
I don't think he heard you.
You know what? I have missed you.
Raj is 48.
I will be in like 6-7 years.
You have a 10-year run, you have a 15-year run. That means you go through multiple kids, that makes the schools have a downtime.
We got individual awards for the city staff, huh?
I have a line, but I don't want to say it till I leave.
Okay. Yeah, you do it.
Okay, it is a pleasure today to honor 7 employees who have 20 years of service or more. What we're going to start doing is, I don't believe we've ever, and this is on me, had an effective way of honoring long-term employees. We've tried it during staff meetings, at breakfast and stuff, but we're going to start in 2019 doing it in council meetings. So today is a catch-up day, and then next year anyone who reaches that milestone will be it. So I'd like to call all of our employees up, the 7. They are Brian Whalen, Mark Alias, Kent Glazier, Alan Perkins, Zach Holcomb, Ronnie Martinez, and Reggie Owen. Okay, we're going to start with the elder statesman, Brian Whalen, who has been here 35 years as of 2017. He is currently our longest. He looks younger than one of us.
You can tell he's leaving.
What could happen in 5 weeks, right? Brian's been here, obviously, way before I was here. But the thing about Brian is he's always been in the Parks Department. He's worked his way up to operations manager. He's in charge of all of our downtown facilities. When he started, there were only 5 parks in the whole city. He is very proud of the work he does, and this city would not be the same without Brian Whalen. He has 2 children, 2 grandchildren. He's a sports enthusiast, NASCAR, and golf. I also count him as a very good friend, and Brian will be leaving this year along with me in 2018. Please give Brian a big hand. And then, Alyssa, if you want to get a picture of the mayor and Brian. You can get a picture too, I can understand. Our next employee is Mark Elias, who has been here 30 years as of 2017. Give him a hand. He's the Senior Construction Project Inspector and supervises a team of 7 inspectors. One of the things that Mark really likes is looking at something that's a schematic and watching it come to life as a real project. He is very appreciative of the working relationships he's cultivated over his 30 years here. He's one of the nicest people I know and has as much integrity as anyone I know at City Hall. He enjoys reading, playing cards and board games with his family. He has a very large family with his wife, Cheryl, of 33 years, and he has 6 children and 5 wonderful grandchildren. Please give Mark a hand. Next employee is someone I started with, Alan Perkins, way back in the traffic days. Alan's been here 30 years. He's the city's principal traffic engineering technician. He has started as a maintenance worker in the traffic division. He's worked his way up. We do try to keep him away from Marvin Chris because when red lights are red, Marvin doesn't like it. So, Alan is married to Kimberly. They have 4 sons, 4 daughter-in-law, and 4 grandchildren. He loves camping and boating. After retiring from the city of Lancaster, he plans to take his RV and travel all over the United States, starting in... That would be Kimberly. Starting in Alaska. So please, Alan Perkins. Next is Zach Holcomb. He's been here 20 years of service in 2018. He supervises a 4-man crew as the lead maintenance worker for the heavy equipment team. One of his favorite memories is he was one of the instructors in the CLIP program, which was Career Landscaping Internship Program. Unemployed people at the time during the Great Recession taught him a career. Alan really took that to heart, and there's a lot of people working today because of Zach Holcomb. He is been with his partner, Leanna, for 8 years. He has 4 children, 3 boys and a girl. He likes camping and dirtback riding. He has a great sense of humor, a very biting sense of humor, and he's a very, very hard worker. Thank you, Zach. You skip Kent? That doesn't matter. Oh. Sorry, Kent. No, Kent and I have some good talks and good memories, so I apologize for that, Kent. Kent has been here 30 years as of 2018. He currently works in the Parks Department as a facilities maintenance coordinator, overseeing landscaping, tree maintenance, and all of those services. That is a very, very difficult job because whenever someone calls about issues with landscaping, trees, whatever, he has to talk to them. But what Kent goes the extra mile is he'll go out and visit each of the sites and talk to the person and explain what's happening. And you don't get that from every employee, so that's a really, really big deal. He was one of the first employees ever hired by our newly established Parks Department at the time. He helped establish one of his best memories is establishing the Metrolink after the Northridge earthquake, the Metrolink station. He enjoys sports, primarily fishing and hockey. And I happen to know that he got a dog at one of our events, and that dog has been a hassle ever since, but you're starting to love him.
He's a good dog.
So, thank you, Ken.
Smile on the inside. Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we have Ronnie Martinez. Ronnie has been with the city of Lancaster for 20 years as of this year. He's currently a maintenance worker too, Parkway crew. He works with the prison crews during doing homeless cleanups and illegal dump cleanups. That is a very difficult job, as you can well imagine. But the part of it is you have to not only do it well yourself, you have to convince other people who, a lot of them don't want to be there, that it's important to do. Ronnie does a great job with that. He enjoys deep sea fishing and camping, and he won Ventura's Rockfish Rumble's annual event by catching a 15-pound rock codfish. And he was featured in Western Outdoors magazine. Really good dude, great baseball fan, Ronnie. And the last person we're going to honor today is Reggie Owen, 20 years of service with the city of Lancaster. Reggie is a senior custodian for the downtown facilities. There is not a more conscientious and better person at taking his job seriously, being professional. But he's one of those guys that every morning when you see him work, you stop and talk to. He has a very rich family life, very rich interests, and he's one of the people that you really look forward to talking to. One of the things I'm going to miss when I leave here is seeing Reggie virtually every morning. He has so many activities, there's too many to mention, but his hobbies are surfing, snowboarding, hiking, snow skiing, mountain biking. He restores cars, he rides a Harley, he's got a 64 Chevy Impala, he's got other cars we've seen too. He really does helping people, especially youth. He built an entire bike track in his backyard just for the neighborhood kids a few years ago. Really good guy, and it's been a pleasure to work with you for 20 years. And on behalf of Mayor Paris and the council, if I do my math right, 30, 60, 95, 125, there's 185 years of service standing up here, and that's service to the community of the city of Lancaster. Thank you. for a picture? Do you guys mind? Mind with one picture with the council, Rex? Okay. Stay up there. No, come on down.
We're good. Let him take a picture with the mayor.
Yeah. Okay. Marvin doesn't want to take a picture with you.
Get your come down here. You too.
Everybody right over here. Any other friends, family?
All right, I need somebody to do the intro to this, and then I'll read it. Okay?
Who? Oh.
Why don't you do it, and I'll award it.
Okay. Okay, we are particularly proud of these next two set of awards because these are national awards. As you know, public safety is the council's top priority. Emergency preparedness, I know, is very, very dear to Rex's heart and very important, as we see with all the wildfires and everything going on. This is a strong commitment by the city council and the mayor on emergency preparedness, but strong commitment needs quality people doing the job and making it happen, and that's what we have today. The city of Lancaster was recently recognized for successfully publicizing two outstanding programs for emergency preparedness, Ready Lancaster and Nixle. Both programs received an award of excellence from the City-County Communications and Marketing Association, better known as 3CMA, which is the nation's premier network for local government communications. Ready Lancaster is the city's citizen emergency preparedness campaign, which helped residents prepare themselves and their families for a disaster. I had the pleasure of working with Rebecca Dykstra on this program, and I can tell you it would not have happened without Rebecca and Andrew and Raj and people really taking care. So this is a very, very proud moment for them and for this city. And then secondly, Ready Lancaster won for marketing tools and government service. Nixle was the city's emergency communications platform, also won an award of excellence for its promotional video. The communications team created the Join the City of Lancaster Nixle promotional video, encouraging people to sign up. In its first week, 1,000 new subscribers signed up. The 3CMA was exceptionally impressed with it, in particular how simple and how direct it was and how effective it was. Getting 1,000 people to sign up for anything in that short a period is really, really difficult. But that's 1,000 people that in an emergency will now know what's happening, what to do, and they'll be safer. Really, really proud of you folks. I know the council is too. Please come on up.
Enough already. Okay, what item am I moving up?
The CA1.
CA1? Okay. Why do I have to move it? Aren't we already there? All right. At this time, I want to nominate and appoint Adolfo Estrada to the Agricultural and Design Commission.
I'll second that motion.
And let's vote. Let's do it orally since I'm down here.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? It's unanimous. Adolfo, I'll let you come down. Thank you. Okay. All right. I, Adolfo Estrada, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations.
Thank you.
If we move this NV2 to the front now, we don't have any speaker cards, so we could just do it straight.
All right. Let's, anything to be removed?
No, sir.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes for the City Council and Successor Agency Financing Power?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Couldn't I finish reading it? Oh, well, never mind.
We're playing the
All
catch-up.
those in favor? Aye.
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 It's unanimous. Now, which one do you want me to move up?
NV2.
I want to take NB2 out of order. Any speaker cards?
We have no speaker cards. Do we have to, is it a public hearing?
It's not a public hearing.
Okay,
New business.
I'll move that we accept NB2, ordinance number 1053.
Second that.
Let's vote. It's unanimous. Back to the regular agenda. Consent calendar.
I'll move that we accept
Oh, wait a
CC.
minute, wait a minute. I have to recuse
It's
myself.
on the CC one. But I'll move we approve CCEA, CC1, and CCEA, CC2.
Second that.
Let's vote. Approved, unanimous. Okay.
And I'll move that we accept CC 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8, pulling CC 4.
I'll second that.
Let's vote. It's unanimous, and I'm going to recuse myself. I have a business in the area.
Speaker cards?
No speaker
No.
cards.
I'll make a motion to approve CC4.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve CC 4. Let's vote. Votes unanimous with Mayor Perez recusing himself.
Okay, now we're at the joint public hearing, is that correct?
Yes. You need to open the public hearing.
Let's open the public hearing of JPH1.
We have no speaker cards.
Let's close the public hearing.
Move that we adopt Resolution 1856 and adopt Resolution FA 02-18.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Let's vote. It's unanimous. Approved.
We have no speaker cards on NB1.
Okay. Hold on a second. I want to do it anyway.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor and City Council, I'm going to have Charlize Niebla, our city engineer, give the presentation on this.
Good.
This is an exciting grant for us. We're going to be combining public awareness and safety, so our engineering department is very excited about this. And public art. Sorry, Andy.
It's kind of art.
All right, you guys got it together now? Okay, good. Let's do it.
All right. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council members. Tonight I'll be discussing the city's Signal Cabinet Wrap project, specifically what this project is about, how the project idea was developed, how we're funding the project, and where we're going to be placing these wraps. So this Signal Cabinet Wrap project is really a unique design. We're combining three concepts that you can see here. The first is an artistic wrap. The second is a wayfinding wrap, and then the third is a safety messaging wrap. And we actually believe the city of Lancaster will be the first to combine all three of these concepts into one wrap. The integrated concept actually came out of a brainstorming session we had in one of our staff meetings earlier this year. We had already developed an artistic wrap that was going to be designed to mitigate graffiti and beautify the city, but we were having difficulty funding that project. We were also about the same time notified by the state's Office of Traffic Safety of a grant program. So at that staff meeting, we were discussing how can we make this wrap meet the grant funding requirements. We ultimately had the idea to include the safety messaging and the school wayfinding, which will qualify us for that grant. We subsequently applied in May of this year, and we were notified in September that we got the grant funds. I'd like to thank two key staff members for working on this project. Vance Goodell, he was instrumental in actually coming up with this idea. And second, Candace, she worked hand-in-hand with the OTS staff to make sure that we were successful in getting this grant application. The grant actually funded us for $55,000. That will pay for the entire project. We have no match funds, no local match funds. The project will actually install 19 wraps with graffiti-resistant laminates along the Lancaster Boulevard corridor from Antelope Valley High to Lancaster High. The screen up here depicts those locations and shows those routes. The wraps will reduce maintenance costs, promote safe behavior, provide wayfinding for school-aged children, and that wayfinding will be consistent with our Safe Routes to School master plan. We anticipate coming up with the final design for that in the coming months as we hold stakeholder meetings and see how they want the wraps to look. And we anticipate them being installed by August of 2018. Prior to the next school year, we plan to do some outreach too, so we can coach the kids and teach them how to use these wraps so that before next school year they know how to use the mapping systems that are identified on there. With that, we think this is a great project for the school children along the Boulevard corridor, and we'd request council take action as identified in the staff report. Thank you for allowing me to present this project, and if you have any questions, I'm available for those.
Thank you. Any questions?
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We love it when it's free. Well, we love it when we don't have to pay for it. I guess that's the correct way to say it.
I'll move we recognize the grant funds in NB1.
Second that? Let's vote.
And appropriate per MB1.
And appropriate.
Thanks.
That's still second. And it's approved unanimously. Ah, this is yours. Andy, this is wonderful. Art in public places. Oh, Rhonda's going to do it. Oh, okay. Come on. There you go.
Good evening, Mayor Paris and Council. We're before you this evening to present the Art in Public Places program policy for your consideration. We've spent the last few months engaging the local community and securing their input into this policy that's before you tonight for consideration. It involved local faith-based groups, local social service organizations, citizens at large, the Lancaster Museum and Public Art Foundation, and city staff as well. Over 600 entities and organizations and individuals contributed to tonight's policy that's before you. This program is going to formalize the process and provide structure for our pre-existing informal Arts in Public Places program that we already have. There's so many communities throughout the Southland and throughout the United States have a very similar program, and as we continue to grow our program, we want to ensure that we have some structure and some solidify some of the rules that surround the program. Here to tell you a little bit more about it is Andy Campagnoni, our museum manager.
Good evening, everyone. So I just wanted to start this presentation quickly with one of the reasons why I think that the Art in Public Places policy is so important and why it's become so important nationally. 99% of CEOs who were questioned stated that the availability of cultural activities in an area is an important consideration in choosing a new location. That information was collected by the Joint Legislative Committee on Cultural Affairs. And this is really important because we talk about bringing business into our community, and that public art is not just a way for us to have pride of ownership and to beautify the neighborhood, but also to woo larger businesses and organizations to come to our city. Next slide, right there. Okay. What is public art? Public art is any permanent display of work of visual art that is specifically designed to be located on a site where it will be accessible to the public view on private or public property within the city of Lancaster. The work of art may be, but is not limited to, murals, and all of these you'll see are public art from Los Angeles. Mosaics, this one happens to be in a metro station. Sculpture, streetscape features, and earthworks. Public art is important. Why is it important? A strong public art policy creates art amenities and facilities in connection with all city capital improvement projects and establishes guidelines and processes for public art provided by the private sector, protecting business owners, artists, and the City of Lancaster. Through this program and the concepts described in the plan, the residents in the City of Lancaster will reap the physical, social, cultural, and economic benefits that only a public art program can truly accomplish. And so what you're looking at today will be the marrying of there's 4 sections in the policy, but it will be describing how the city will use its 1% from capital improvement projects to fund specific public art projects that are on public property. And it'll also be a guideline for public art on private property so that we have a consistent policy both for public and private use. And as long as it is in the public viewing area or it is available to the public, even whether it's on private or public property, you'll have the same stipulations and guidelines for both. So the identity, the way art identifies a community, and you will see in the next pictures how some of these locations you know just by the public art, and you don't think that you know them, but once you see them, you're like, oh yeah, I know where that is. Public art increases cultural awareness, stimulates imagination, and provokes creative dialogue among those in the entire community. Residents, business owners, and customers, neighbors, and visitors will enjoy the quality of life that is provided by interacting with art on a daily basis. Public art, everyone knows where this is, right? Yeah. Chicago. Public art pieces become landmarks that uniquely identify, enhance, and draw attention to buildings, parks, and communities such as Cloud Gate, or the Bean, as it's called in Chicago. The Gateway Arch in St. Louis. The Love Sculpture in New York City. I also thought about using the bull that was on Wall Street, but we couldn't find a really great picture of it. And Urban Light in Los Angeles. I think one of the most tagged images for the City of Lancaster recently is our commissioned Astral Challenger, which is out on L and Challenger? Yeah, and Challenger Way. That piece has become a really big icon that now people are recognizing it as the City of Lancaster. So now when you see that posted places, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. So sense of place. So art is important to our common and shared experiences because it brings focus, significance, and cohesion to public places. And I think I skipped a slide. So this sculpture, I don't know if you remember, was out in front of the museum. It was a loaned piece called Pretty Boy, and this is how powerful this piece is. We still have people 5 years later asking us, when's Pretty Boy going to come back? That people remember this sculpture. They interacted with it. It became an icon. And it became a symbol, and it was definitely posted everywhere on the internet and became synonymous with the City of Lancaster. We'd love to get another one like that. Public art develops memories and provides experiences that reflect the historical and cultural essence of a community. Clearly, we're an aerospace-based community. The whole Antelope Valley has contributed to aerospace for almost 100 years. And so having murals that celebrate some of that history is definitely part of public art. I think a lot of people think that these are memorials, but these are actually created by artists in memorial of someone who has contributed to the local community, but they definitely are public art. Public art transforms public spaces by giving them context and relevance, making them places of community interest and pride. I took this off this is a perfect example of our first commissioned piece, the City of Lancaster, on NASA's webpage. And if you go anywhere else on the NASA page, there's no mention of us anywhere else. But we are recognized for this piece of public art, which is kind of nice because we don't see it. We don't get to see ourselves on there anywhere else. This also expands our reach outside of our community to tell people what our community is about. We just finished our second iteration of Powwow Antelope Valley, which we now have 30 murals on the boulevard. We had 12 from the first iteration in 2016, and we added, I think, an additional 19 or 20. I can't remember the exact amount. Public art has the potential to improve the appearance of an entire business district, to heighten the ethnic, historical, or cultural aspects of a neighborhood, and to attract foot traffic to common community streets that formerly had little or none. This map also was part of why our community, why the boulevard district, why the PBED was is now a state designated cultural district. So public art adds to that, and we also were recognized by the state of California. Hopefully that will continue. So community engagement. These images are high school students working on a yarn bomb in the front of the museum. My first, I think, month I worked for the city in 2011, we talked about doing a yarn bomb, and I think you guys, everybody went, a bomb? What are they doing? And it was really funny because in my mind, I knew what it was, so it wasn't weird to me. But then, what is this? And then, of course, the students came out and they yarn bombed the front of City Hall, which was really amazing. I couldn't find pictures of it, but it was such a great project. And we had so many students, and I think those students were from RX Paris High School, that had an opportunity to interact with the employees and the staff here at City Hall, which they wouldn't have had they not been involved in a public art project. Public art offers other opportunities for communities to tell their story and educate through experience and increased pride of ownership. This project, Wasteland, was also a high school project that was funded by the LA County Supervisor's Office, and that we worked with Eastside High School. The kids were taken on field trips, learned about illegal dumping and illegal waste, and they collected materials, 1 bag of trash, 1 bag of materials to build sculpture with, and then they built these public art pieces. So it's an opportunity to both get involved civic-mindedly and also education, and also make something really beautiful for the neighborhood. Another youth project that we offered through MOA was Crosswinds. I think Jason helped us out with some connections that he had in the green energy out in Tehachapi, and we took the students on field trips to the wind farms. They learned about sustainable energy, and then they built public art that actually functioned, collecting more energy. So you see the wind turbines that they built. And then it can be as simple as just getting a neighborhood together. Oh, we're missing a picture. That's okay. To create murals in their neighborhoods. And I know you're all thinking that this is new to Lancaster, but it actually isn't. Public art has been around for a very long time. It just hasn't been a formal program. This is a perfect example of county, the medical center on I. This piece was made by Brad Howe, who was an Antelope Valley native and now is an internationally renowned artist out of Malibu. The piece is called One Desert Sky. And this artwork was inspired by distinct stories of Antelope Valley community members collected through a series of artist-initiated participatory activities and before they opened in 2014. The activities engaged nearly 500 Antelope Valley community members and stimulated open conversations revealing diverse cultural perceptions that influenced Howe's artwork. The activities culminated in an artwork naming contest administered by MOA, from which the winning title, which was submitted by an Antelope Valley resident, One Desert Sky, was selected by over 100 entries. And One Desert Sky converts the voices of all these Antelope Valley residents into icons and symbols. So when asked, and we did multiple art projects with the community on how they identified with their community, and they came up with these symbols, and we collected all of these symbols, and then the artist put this together. So each one of these is they're small metal, I forgot what kind of paint that is, but anyway, they're all painted, they come together, and it's the whole length of the whole building, so if you can see all the way down, there's 3 distinct clouds of all these icons that represent the Antelope Valley. So economic benefits. I know everyone's really interested in that. Enhancing the identity and character of communities through public art directly supports cultural tourism and economic development strategies, which can both retain and attract residents. In addition, incorporating public art into private development can be a way for buildings to stand out as developers and managers look for renters, whether businesses or residents. The attention public art can bring to a development project can be calculated. A healthy public art ecosystem also drives the growth of new business. And this is a perfect example. And it is also in Lancaster. This is the new Kaiser Center. And they worked with a consultant. Kaiser has a 1% public art program for their own organization. So even if our city had one and we required one for development, which we're not doing right now, but they already have their own. They recognize the benefits incorporating public art into their facilities. They had 3 goals that led this initiative, and that was to create a branded environment for their landmark space, which is, I believe, 136,000 square feet. The design team needed to understand the hopes and aspirations of the community to inform the design, create a unique and memorable environment, and inspire strong affinity for Kaiser Permanente in the region. So they actually used the public art to engage people to find out who lives here, what are they looking for, and then to beautify the neighborhood to the point that people would want to associate this with Kaiser. As a result of their extensive engagement, the design team discovered the top priorities of the community were to have a place of art, which that came up, inspiration, activity, and recreation. And driven by those priorities, the theme of healing and transformation was visualized with local poppies and butterflies. And all over that property, you will see multiple public art pieces. The goals that they delivered through the project, which we look to delivering through our 1% project, will be community engagement, experience and design, public art strategies, wayfinding, which we just talked about on the electrical boxes, narrative development, and marketing collateral. And marketing collateral, I think, is one of the biggest things because it's a visual calling card for the city of Lancaster. Every time we put something up that has some kind of iconic space or iconic structure, people associate that with the city. This 1% of new capital improvement projects is what we're proposing today, and that basically means each year 1% of what our capital improvement projects for the next fiscal year will go into a fund, and that fund will either work on new facilities that are arts related or community driven. It'll also be dedicated for public art and also to repair or maintain the existing public art in the community. The City of Lancaster is dedicated to commissioning, preserving, and expanding on the inventory of existing public art within the community. And we would establish that Art in Public Places program includes components for art on public property, utilizing capital improvement funds and or private donations, and a component for publicly visible art on private property. The intent of the Art in Public Places policy is to create arts amenities, facilities in connection with all city capital improvement projects, and establish guidelines and processes for public art provided by the private sector. The public art allocation is equal to 1% of the total valuation of capital improvement projects in a given fiscal year that will be allocated by the city to be used for the installation provision of public art on public property. Through the program concepts described above, the residents of the City of Lancaster will reap the physical, social, cultural, and economic benefits that only a public art program can truly accomplish. Last but not least, I just wanted to give you an idea of some other communities that have 1% capital improvement project for public art policies. There are quite a few. I think many of them that you will recognize, but they, interestingly enough, all have very large tourism associated with these neighborhoods, and these cities. So I think in some places that you wouldn't think that there would be, the public art has become a major impact on their tourism and economics. I think that is it. But upon its inception, and were you all to agree to this and approve it today, the Art in Public Places program will become a vital element of Lancaster's unique personality and diverse communities. With original public art located throughout the city, Lancaster will truly become known as a place of culture. Does anybody have any questions?
How much is 1%?
So it would be 1% of each year's, so it could be anywhere from $1 million to wherever it goes, depending on what kind of capital improvement projects we have during that fiscal year.
So are we talking about a floor of $1 million?
So this year, for example, we had $4 million adopted in new capital improvement projects. So this year it would have been somewhere in the neighborhood of about $40,000. Seed money that we can use to leverage grant money, because once you have a program like this, it shows the city's commitment, it shows our dedication to arts in the community. If you back up a couple years, potentially, the years that we adopted the overpass projects and the interchange projects, where we adopted much larger CIP program budgets, it could have pushed a few $100,000, $500,000 those years. So it's going to ebb and flow depending on the capital improvement budget and the new projects that come across.
Okay. So between 40 and 500.
Give or take. It all depends on, I don't have the exact numbers, but it all depends on how large our new capital improvement budget is each year. Some years it's $30 million.
But we have some historic perspective.
We do, absolutely. So I would say 40,000 last year, 500,000 a few years ago, ebb and flow.
What do you think?
Me? I think it's a good start as you leverage it towards grants. I think it's incredibly important. I think once you start it, if you decide that you want to up that percentage, you can. Our capital improvement program, Rhonda's talking about new money, but the capital improvement program is anywhere between $20 and $30 million. So, you know, you're talking about not including the interchanges, several $100,000. I think it's the right start. The other thing it's a start, which doesn't...
Give me the range.
It will never exceed $500,000 unless you up the percentage.
What do you think? Toy.
I think art in public spaces is very important, and I think the city's commitment to it is essential. I think we should look to see how we can implement it in some of our current programs as well as some of the new ones coming up.
What does that mean?
I think an example would be as we go to do the TI, the tenant improvements at the new community center, it would be nice to include that as a program with art included into it.
What do you guys think?
I'm okay with it as long as we put a limit on it. We're about to go into hundreds of millions of grants through our interchange program, and I don't know if we can afford it.
I can speak to that. So a lot of the grants that are for public transportation will not allow a percentage to be used for things that are not listed on the grant, but this would be a way for us to leverage that to obtain funds from other funding organizations to help with those kinds of projects. So I don't think the underpass projects, but I think there are street and highway projects that don't allow you. I know when I was working with staff on the Astral Challenger, there was a certain amount of money that we could use towards other things other than the actual street itself. So in those kinds of cases, we would be able to use that 1% as leverage. So not every project would have public art involved with it, but that money would be there later to put in communities that maybe wouldn't get a capital improvement project, but they might get some kind of public art out of it. And I think that the housing situation is a perfect example of engaging a community that would be living in there and how they would like to see and how they could interact with pride of ownership in the project itself, not just becoming passive residents and moving into an existing neighborhood that doesn't speak to them.
And
I don't know if that answered that. But.
If I may also add, we talked about at the beginning of this fiscal year a beautification measure called Impact that we talked to council a little bit about moving forward and how we just beautify the city overall. And this is a large step in that process. And we'd like to marry these two programs to have a greater impact over time.
All right. Anybody else?
Just have a question. I'm wondering about the pieces of artwork. Will they change over time, or will it be set? How does that part
most
work?
of the work should be permanent. It would depend on the project. So in some cases that, like for instance, housing, it could be part of the project that they rotate. There's so many different kinds of public art. It could even be performance based. There could be There could be event-based. All of this is just so different based on wherever we would choose to put the work and how the community would be engaged in participating in that.
As far as the choices of where you would put the artwork, who determines that?
That we are going to, that's one of my jobs this year, is to go around the entire city. We are doing kind of an economic survey on neighborhoods that could use help with pride of ownership, and also which would best benefit with community engagement and understanding more about what neighborhoods are about by getting them involved, and also trying to find the places that, well, I guess I kind of said that already. We'll look to those best spots where the community would best be served by having public art. It's not just a random, like, let's plop a sculpture over here. It all needs to be thought out, and by the end of this fiscal year, I will have a list of neighborhoods that are best candidates for engagement.
Okay, thank you.
Hold on, you're not done.
Uh-oh.
Okay. What's your concern now in the transportation?
We're about to spend a little over $200 billion on our transportation. That's $2 million that we would be putting towards this. I'm not comfortable with that. I'd be okay with limiting it, and then if it's over that limit, they can come back to the council.
It's not that I want to have a default limit, but if it's over 500, I want it to come to us. I mean, I want sufficient time for us to intercede if we want to. You know, you see the difference. I don't want it to automatically be a no, or that it requires action. I just want us to have the option of acting. Can we?
We can not only do that, but
Can I have the city attorney's attention?
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
need to know that we can do this.
Yeah.
Of course you can.
Sure. One way you could do that is to approve the recommendation on NB3 with the requirement that any proposed expenditures in a given year in excess of insert the dollar amount you want here come back to the council for express approval.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything in excess of $500,000, I want us
Yeah,
to have
I
the
too would
option.
feel better. Because I don't want us to get into a point where we're just spending money just to spend money,
Sure.
because we have a windfall year where we've got a big capital improvement program.
And I don't know that $2 million in art is not appropriate. I just want us to have the.
I want to make
ability
sure that the money's there for other stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
What might make sense, if I may, is, and Jason was just talking, it's going to be part of the budget process every year, so you can know what's projected for that fiscal year. And at that point, you can make the determination, not just is it a much, but what is your fiscal
I don't want this
condition.
slid into the budget. I want specific notification to each council member that we're going to exceed. All right?
That, you know,
Do you want to come back for a vote?
No.
No, you want
But
notification.
But if a council member wants to put it on the agenda to vote, we can. You follow
can
me?
do that.
I mean, I just don't like where you default to.
Okay, so you want you want notification to each member of the council if the expenditures are anticipated to exceed $500,000 for a given year, but you're not asking for a separate vote to come back to the council unless a council member
puts
wants
it on the
it.
agenda.
Okay.
Yeah. The other concern I have is right now so far you're doing well, but you could get another job tomorrow. I'm not sure that we're happy with the how it's approved, which art projects are acceptable, which art projects are not acceptable. And I'm wondering if there's, and you don't have to do it tonight, but I would like you to pay attention to fashioning some community.
I can kind of speak to that a little bit. So
Okay.
the process that, let's say, a business owner in Lancaster decides they would like to put public art on their property. So they would come here to Development Services and get a permit for that. I think it's pretty minimal. It's going to be in the kind of the same realm as a sign permit. They will fill out the application. They will give us a design. There's specific questions on who the artist is, what the project will look like. It needs to have renderings, the same things that we do for signage. And then that will go through, I think it's a director's review at Development Services, and then once the entire application is realized and that it's complete in its entirety, then it will go to the Lancaster Museum and Public Art Foundation, and to make sure that it's relevant for the community that it will be going into, that it speaks to the community, that it's not just some random thing that, oh, my cousin's an artist and he makes bronze sculpture and he lives in Rhode Island, but I want to put this sculpture here on my property. That's the idea of the specific committee that will be on Lancaster Museum and Public Art Foundation. The people that are on that committee understand those needs and understand the neighborhood, because they all live in Lancaster, and nothing would be put up without that kind of procedure. I think for the 1% procedure, it will be very similar. Obviously, the city will not go and get a permit. It will be part of the museum, the Public Art Foundation, Parks, and Development Services to decide which of those. And like, we're working on the roads. We have a highway grant. Clearly, we're not going to be putting sculpture on a highway, although that could happen if it was appropriate. But that money that would be that 1% could go towards helping another neighborhood with a different art project. So it doesn't have to be directly related to the project itself.
I want architecture and design to approve any art project over $10,000. All right.
Any city art project over $10,000? Okay.
All right. I want to have a handle on who's approving this stuff. All right?
Of course.
Makes sense. Anybody disagree? Anybody disagree? You good with it? Okay, good. So that'll have to be brought back to us at another date, right?
If you want to make that part of this program, I can.
No, I don't want to make it part of this program, but I want it to be.
Okay, so you want to bring
what
back
we
a
do.
separate item on the plan for approval of public arts programs that are with city funds, including a requirement that Architecture Design Committee approve any.
Even private funds.
Okay.
I mean, let's
Right.
be realistic.
So
It could get
any.
crazy.
So that is already in the policy. It doesn't speak
I think so.
specifically to the Architectural and Design Commission, but it does speak to LMPAF.
Okay.
But we will be coming back later in the next couple of months with the actual ordinance. This is just the plan and the policy and the.
I don't like the idea. Hold on one second.
Sure.
We're having a Brown Act violation here.
No, we're not. We're at a public meeting.
I'm good if you want to bring it back.
You okay with bringing it back? Okay, I want to see it. Bring it back.
Right. The ordinance will be coming back in the next couple of months. This was just the
Why are we
beginning.
waiting a couple months?
I think the adoption, this guideline is different than the actual ordinance itself, and we had to write it into, which requires, I think, public hearing, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was the actual guidelines for the policy and how we would go through.
Bring it back in 30 days, okay?
Right. 30 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. All right. Where are we at on a motion?
We
Okay.
don't need a motion. You're going to bring it back, correct?
No. She
No,
needs to
we
approve
need-
this
we
now.
need to get this
It's just
now.
the approval of any public art. That's a separate motion.
The 10,000.
Yeah, but I'm not sure I want 10,000 even. I think we want to be looking at size.
Right.
And, figure out.
Okay.
That's what I want you to bring back.
Okay.
Figure out what makes sense for architecture design to look at and what's none of their business.
Okay.
All right?
Sounds good.
I'll move NB3 with a $500,000 cap and council notification. Those clauses put in there.
Was it a cap or was it a notification to the council if the
It's a
expenditure was going to
notification
exceed?
cap. You got to tell us.
Right. So it's a notification requirement, but not a cap.
$500,000 cap would kick in the council notification.
Okay. So it's a trigger point at which notification has to be given.
Correct.
Okay. Great.
Good.
I'll second that.
You good? You happy?
Yes.
All right, good. Let's vote. It's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're doing a good job.
Thanks.
We're still there.
Although I was screaming today. Where,
Your sidewalk's coming. We're working on it.
well, I got it. Thanks. I should have just asked nicely. Okay, NB4. Any speaker cards?
None.
Let's waive the staff report. Is there a motion?
I'll recommend NB4, the approval of the core operation documents.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Let's vote. It's unanimous. Thank you. Council agenda. Any speaker cards?
No speaker cards.
Is there a motion?
Move to approve CA2.
I'll second that
wait a minute.
motion.
No, it has to be more specific. It has to be
Yes.
moved to approve the contract for the city manager, right?
The city manager's agreement as presented to the council and before you, and I have copies here.
Okay.
Okay.
Amendment.
I'll move that we approve the city manager contract as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Let's vote.
And authorize the mayor to sign.
What?
That's what I said.
That's what you said. And authorize the mayor to sign.
Okay. It's approved. It's unanimous. Lancaster Housing, no action. Lancaster Power Authority, no action. Lancaster Successor Agency, no action. City Manager, Executive Director announcements. Do you have any announcements?
Just a couple. One, I think, commend the council. We do a staff for the public arts policy. Lancaster's extraordinarily difficult because it's so big, 94 square miles. We probably have more public art than, say, a city like Hermosa Beach, which you wouldn't think. Hermosa Beach is 1.4 square miles. So it's a Herculean undertaking, and it's a huge step. So it's going to make the city look better. I want to congratulate Jason. He's one of the most innovative professionals I know, but he's also a really good friend, one of my best friends, and it makes me feel personally great that the city manager's office is going to be in really, really good hands, as is the city. So, Jason, congratulations.
Shouldn't we have some type of celebration or a cake? Or, I mean,
I think we're going to win.
a changing of the guard, or
We can do whatever you'd like, sir.
all right. I want to when he takes over and you pass the reins, then I want something. All right.
Which one are we celebrating?
Careful. And we're also having. Where's Rhonda? That's going forward, and it's going to be spectacular. What?
Would you like an update?
I would, but I want to know that it's going to be spectacular.
It is going to be spectacular. We're very excited. On December 1st, we invite the entire community to come out and celebrate the Block Party of the Decade, where we will honor our city manager and council, as well as all the accomplishments that the city of Lancaster has experienced in the last 10 years, with a free concert by the Plain White Tees, fireworks celebrating the evening, food trucks, and fun stuff for the kids. And we've had a tremendous fireworks, a tremendous amount of support through social media already. The first day it went out, I think it reached about 35,000 people, the announcement did. So we're excited. I think it's going to be great.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Good. You deserve it, Mark.
Thank you
Jason,
very much.
We hope you will too in 10 years.
Jason will not let you down. We have one quick video, sir, if I may. Avenue I project's completed. But I think the important part is Mike Livingston and his team went the extra mile during construction to talk to every single business. So we have a very short video to show you about Avenue I.
Mike, Avenue I is open.
Yes, sir. We ended up opening up last Friday, October 19th, 2018. What we did is we incorporated several facets of our Complete Streets program as well as our ADA transition plan. As you can see, the project was from 15th Street West to 10th Street West on the north side of the road and also on the south side of the road. Not only is there a bike lane, but there's also frontage parking in front of the businesses and local restaurants. Don Gus's, as well as Maxton's and Crazy Autos, along with Baroni's. So all of these businesses are open. streets open, this is probably one of the places you're going to want to come stop at.
So what kind of community outreach do we do?
We instituted a program of what we call boots on the ground, where our inspectors went out and we went to each business individually, and we did that about every other week to keep them up to date on the schedule, any delays or anything like that. We were there to at least field their concern and check it out with the traffic engineer, and any changes we could make, we would make them. If we couldn't, then we couldn't, but at least they had a say.
We have a new Avenue I.
Yes, finally, we make it. Now it's looking much better. Since they opened the street, everybody comes right away.
Do you think it's going to improve business for not only you, but everybody up and down?
Yeah, for all the business around, for all the streets, it's going to be much better. It looks beautiful. A lot better than before, and it's very nice.
Good. That's good news. Anything else? Thank you. City Clerk.
This is the time to address the City Council agency and authority on non-agendized matters. Speaker cards can be found on the back table of the council chambers. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. State law prohibits the City Council from taking action on items not on the agenda, and your matter may be referred to the City Manager. Thank you.
Adrian Holmes. Okay, I want you to smile, Adrian, because when you're done, you're going to be very happy.
It's been a long day, but it's a good day.
You're going to be very happy when you're done.
I already know.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
Thank you. I just wanted to address the council. I don't know where you are on your plans for a skate park for Lancaster, but in 2008, I'm a retired teacher. I taught 26 and a half years in the Eastside School District, and I've worked with kids all my life. When I was a kid, I worked with kids. I tutored kids when I was a kid. So, I mean, they're just near and dear to my heart. When I was in the East Side School District, the kids would dismantle our benches to make ramps so that they could skate up and down our steps because we had an outdoor stage, and it was really fun for them. And they dismantled our school every weekend just about. My suggestion was we had a lot of land over there. We built them a skate park because there was land there, right there, right where they could use it. Well, at Sky Tower Park, there's basketball courts, tennis courts, there's gazebos, there's grass, there's a playground, and there's still concrete in an area that is not used very much. It's in the wind, it's in the cold, it's exposed. It has some benches, it has some shrubbery and concrete. That's not the highest and best use of the land. But it's enough room to build a small skate park. And if you use it wisely and you use it to its best advantage, you could go up a little bit and make a really nice attraction to the community. It's definitely going to build revenue. Is going to bring people over to the skate park, and it'll bring people. It's a 2-minute walk to the ice cream parlor, to the bowling alley, to everything on the boulevard. And it takes the kids off the boulevard. They no longer flip their skateboards into the street in front of cars, and they do that intentionally because they're trying to show their new tricks.
Because what?
So they see a car coming, and instead of getting out of the way, they try to do a trick.
Why do they do that?
Because they are talented and they want to show off, and they're children.
Oh, the same reason I show off, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they show off, and the boards flip into the street, and the police get called, and the kids get tickets, and parents gotten tickets, I heard recently. That would only be fair to me if the kids had somewhere to go. They don't have anywhere to go. The kids look out for each other. They're really nice kids. I talk to all of them. I've been on the boulevard for 8 years. I started out with my camera. They were framing the cinema. I have the video. It's called Celebrate Lancaster, and I'm done. I'm just saying.
So now you're going to be really happy.
Yeah.
12 months. Can we do this in 12 months? It's up and running. I want a community outreach. I want a young people's participation in the process of where we're going to build it, how we're going to build it, But in 12 months, I want to see Marvin on a skateboard at the skateboard park.
At Sky Tower Park. At Sky Tower. I'm sorry. American Heroes. I made a mistake.
Well, that's
American Heroes Park.
That's an issue that the community has to be involved in. Do we want to, I mean, because it's going to attract people. Do we want to attract them downtown?
Yes.
Is it safer to take them someplace else? But these are community issues to decide, and it's the Lancaster Boulevard Association's issue to decide. But I want this being done with a view to the safety of the kids. I think there should be hours for age groups. You know,
well, I think it has to definitely be policed. And,
it's a
you
big
know about the
undertaking.
homeless situation at the park.
Right.
There would have to be some way to secure the facility when it's closed. And
no, I know it's a big project, but I think we've figured out a way to fund it, and it's unless somebody here has an objection to it. Are we
going to strengthen prohibition of skateboards on the boulevard? If that happens?
I don't know that strengthening the prohibition is going to be helpful, but the way to eliminate skateboards on a boulevard is you build obstructions. And we can do that. You know, I mean, if we need to, but I'm wondering if we have to, if we have a skateboard park. If there's still a problem, then we will invest the money in putting the obstructions so that it's not any fun to do it on the boulevard. I mean, that's how you do that.
kids agreed that it would be fair. Well, I talked to some of the kids, but it is fair that there's more sanctions if they have somewhere to go.
Then what?
That there would be more sanctions against the kids doing things on the boulevard,
Right.
because they have somewhere to go, and it's right there.
Yeah, but then you can't show off as much.
You
can't show off as much.
Oh, there's going to always be somebody who's going to show off.
Okay, but anyway, if you let the skateboarders know in 12 months, they get
Something will happen.
They get their skateboard park.
Thank you.
All right? But I really do want a strong community outreach, and I want their involvement in it. And I want this to be a little different than how most communities do it. I also want staff, whoever we assign to do this, and Toy, I know you're thinking I'm going to look at you, but I'm not.
Every business owner on the boulevard that I talked to signed.
I can't hear you. You know, I'm old and deaf.
I went, actually, I found out a lot of things on the boulevard. There's the businesses. I walked in and out of every single one of them. I didn't know they existed. But all of them agree that they want somewhere for the kids to go.
Well, you know, the thing the
signed.
boulevard has to decide is does it increase business to have the activity down in their area, or does it increase profits if it's someplace else? And that's a decision they have to make. We're not going to make it for them.
I did an 8-year study. Can I share with somebody somewhere? Who
Sure,
can I talk
because
to?
we're going to be sending people to other skateboard parks. I don't want to reinvent the wheel either. But yeah, you obviously need to be involved in this community effort. Okay?
Well, if someone
So who's
can please
undertaking
contact
it?
me.
Rhonda's in charge? All right. 12 months, Rhonda. 12 months.
Thank you.
Marvin has to be on a skateboard. Okay. So, Adrian, you happy?
Yes, I am.
Good. David Paul.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, good evening. I'm reminded of the story of the time I tried to show off for my boys on a skateboard. That wasn't very pretty. And before I forget, Mayor, I just want to say when I was up there earlier talking to you two, the only thing I could keep thinking was what a nice suit you're wearing. It's really a beautiful garment. Thank you so much for the opportunity to come here and see all these good
This
things.
is a J. David suit. You can get one too. Just call J. David down at Santa Clarita. Okay, go ahead.
Excellent. It's really great. You know, the arts, it is important. Art teaches people to get beyond themselves and look at things differently, and it's ultra important. I was thinking as I was laying there, we had Veterans Day yesterday at the cemetery. That was a nice event to remember, and there was some talk with this homeless coalition that I'm working with into diversion about veterans, and today when I was leaving a store, I was in a left turn lane, and there was some time, and there was a guy standing there with a sign, Veteran Homeless Help. So I put down my window and I talked to him. I tried to tell him about Valley Oasis and the things I found out recently about the services they offer, and he said he knows, he had been there, and he said that he got a couple of months in a hotel, and eventually he told me they've authorized $700 a month for him, but what can he get for that? So when we were talking about the art, when we moved in, my boys were very little, and I put these plastic stars on the ceiling above my bed, this, sun, the moon, just as an array of glow-in-the-dark stickers that we looked at. And when I lay there at night, I look up and I go, that's beautiful art, but the thing that's beautiful about it is that roof over my head. And that's what I want to see. I mean, we have issues that we have to face, and I love the innovation that the city puts into this, but we have to have some sort of way to get a roof over people's heads or a place for them to go. And I know we'll do it. I appreciate earnestly the things that everyone here does, and I'm just glad to be a part of it. So, good night.
Thank you, David. Viana Frizz. Did I pronounce that right? Okay. There you are. Okay.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad
Somebody
you
help her
didn't-
with that mic, please. Let's pull it down.
I'm glad you didn't start my time yet. I'm slow. You're taking care of the teenagers. I want you to take care of our seniors. We need a bus bench to protect us from weather on the Fern Avenue.
Okay.
ABTA promised it in March.
Give her the bus bench, would you?
How soon? Please, thank you.
Okay.
Please, please.
When?
Rex says tomorrow.
All right, okay, I'll be
No,
watching.
it won't be tomorrow.
We have it.
Can we do it in 60 days?
I can have it done as soon as possible. Angela funded it probably a year ago. She
Yes.
funded some bunch benches.
Yeah.
Benches.
Yes.
So we'll tap into that and we'll get it done as soon as possible.
Oh, thank you. I was sitting
Wait a
on the
minute.
curb
Why'd she
there.
have to wait a year?
Thank you.
I
March.
said
They,
as soon as possible.
they changed the bus in March.
Wait a minute. My mother used to tell me soon as possible, and we never went to Disneyland. No.
I should have come here earlier. I waited all this time.
Fran has asked for it before.
Oh,
so
has she?
Fran has always been, but we're working it through the channels, but we'll get it done.
Fran,
Okay.
if they don't have that thing up in 90 days, would you give me a call? Okay. I mean, for heaven's sakes, we're Lancaster. we're the most innovative city in America, right? I mean, right?
Yes, but
And we
still
can't
have
get a
to-
bus bench up in a year?
We have to hire someone to do it. Unless you'd like to go out and do it, we have to hire someone.
Jason, if ABTA can't get that damn bus bench up, I want the city to do it.
I spent 5 hours at their office over there.
What?
3 months after March, I spent 5 hours over there talking to Tish.
To who?
To Tish.
Oh, kids.
Tish. She's
Tish.
one of the people.
Oh, okay.
And she promised it, so I don't see it yet. So
90 days.
thank you. All right. And we have 250 people there, plus handicapped people volunteering. So we really need a bus bench. We all use the bus. Most of us use the bus. So thank you very much.
They asked for it to be removed originally.
Who did?
For the one bus.
The senior, because they were having homeless sleep on the bus bench. So we removed it. Now they want it back. So it's
No, the number one bus, the EVTA took over the buses and took all our buses away from the front of the building the south entrance.
Reminds me of that Mad Magazine cartoon. Never mind, I don't want to do
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
They moved it 800 feet north on Fern.
Okay, you're going to get
Yeah.
your bus.
Thank you,
All right.
for Christmas,
Good.
I hope. Thank you.
Thank you, what?
For Christmas. That was your Christmas present.
Oh. Should have been your Christmas present. Okay, Lida, how do you pronounce it? Yes, that's
Yes.
it. Abramian.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I'm a volunteer in different places for City of Lancaster, and one of the places is LPAC. About a week ago, I noticed a gentleman come in with a gun in his back of his belt. I approached one of the guards. I don't know what you call them. At this point, I forgot what they are. But they can't do anything about it because they're not supposed to do anything. They only check women's purses when they come in, and that's just it. And one of the council member was present at the time, but I couldn't talk to them. I want to know what you guys are going to do about this, because women come in.
I want to know the name of the law enforcement personnel who was there who didn't do anything about that. All right? If that is true, I want action taken immediately. That is outrageous. If that guy didn't have a badge with that gun, find out what happened.
The gentleman who had the gun was leaving the facility. He was out the door when I talked to the guard. He was already at the building, but he said they cannot pat or check the gentlemen who come in because
I thought you
there is
said
no-
you saw the gun.
I saw the gun. I saw he had the gun in the back.
Captain, would you look into that? Find out exactly what happened. I do not want a shooting in one of our. I do not want Thousand Oaks happening here. All right? Good. They will take care of that.
Yeah, a lot of people come in with gentlemen. They come in with knives and all kinds of stuff, and then we have to ask them to empty their pockets or leave it.
Wait a minute, we have volunteers doing that?
Most of the time. We have park rangers do that. The park rangers check, but if we are short for park rangers, because we don't get park rangers when we have a full house, we don't get enough park rangers there. So sometimes we do volunteer.
Oh, so when we have a full house, we don't have adequate.
Yeah, there's only
Lee,
2 park rangers, and we
fix
have
this.
4 doors.
Thank you. Okay, we'll fix it. Thank you.
Okay,
Good.
thanks.
Mr. Martinez.
Thank you for allowing me a little bit of time to talk to you guys. I just wanted to address the issue of the trash cleanup. I heard there was a trash day, free cleanup, but a lot of what I'm seeing is stuff. When you're around my neighborhood, I've gone around picking up stuff, and I want to know if there's any way. I heard like Palmdale has a way of you call them. They have a team that comes and cleans that up. Do we have something like that here? I've called the city several times, and we still have around my neighborhood a lot of that going on. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of calling waste management, and it just keeps on happening over and over again. And I've noticed around the area where I live at, there seems to be like a lot of Section 8 that don't.
I don't want to attribute it to any specific group.
Okay.
But if you will talk to the staff, will have somebody talk to you before you leave.
Okay.
And we'll figure out how to resolve this.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I offer just one more solution? I was looking into the bag tax that we all pay for the grocery stores. Does anybody know exactly where that money was? I wonder if maybe some of those funds can be tapped in for beautifying the city or even the art projects that were mentioned earlier. Because those bag taxes, I don't see them going anywhere. Since we've had the bag taxes, I haven't seen any beautifications in our local community or even the state.
Isn't that a state?
That's a state tax.
Yeah, it's a state tax, but
Actually, there was two, when that was voted into law, there was actually two things on the ballot. One of them was the bag tax, yes or no, and the other was designating where that bag tax goes. And the one designating whether it would go to,
I heard it goes to the merchants.
So you had one pass and one fail, so when people are collecting the bag tax, it's really going nowhere.
Exactly.
It's a very crazy.
That's what I found.
Yeah. So there's no designation for that money that you're paying for the bags.
I was wondering maybe there's some way we can.
It would be
there's no way to tap into that. Or
sounds like a
there's
liberal
a very
plot.
loony way that it was put on the.
Okay. Thanks. We'll deal with the trash issue. Okay.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry. Never mind. The other thing has related. I'll talk to. Who do I talk to about the other issues? Okay.
Okay. Good.
Okay. Thanks.
If it's not already done, couldn't we have an ordinance prepared for the council to approve that the MOA, Cedar Street, and LPAC are, just like the court, no guns, no weapons, and it's a crime if they do it. All right? Is that
I will look into it and put one together if we can, which I suspect we can.
good? Thanks. Make it like a school, All right?
See what we can do.
All right, Fran, come on up. I saved you for last because I wanted some joy in my life before I left. So, have some joy and share it. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor Paris, Vice Mayor Chris, council members, ladies and gentlemen, and staff members. Thank you very much for listening to me. I am glad to hear about the skate park. I've been wanting that for a long time, and I'm glad it's finally coming true. And thank you again for the bench for the senior center. I'm here to ask you a little bit more. I kind of wrote this.
It's Christmas, so you should ask away.
This is good. It's a shame we seniors have to beg for help to hopefully be able to enjoy the last few years of our life. We don't ask for much, just a nice, pleasant, and beautiful place to come for a few hours of the day to refreshen our memories, our bodies, enjoy camaraderie and leisure. To be able to handle the hardships of home and penny pinching for what we need. We are no longer looking for fancy cars, big houses with pools.
Yes, we are.
Well, I wish I could. It would be nice, but the reality is not there. We are living our last years as best as we can, but some of us don't. Oh, got stuck. Some of us don't have the families to help us enjoy our last years. We have become a burden to our kids and now to society. Yet we are still vibrant, smart, and we may be a little slower than a few years ago, but it seems to me that society and people just want us to turn around and die.
Fran,
shaking.
You should be ashamed.
No.
You should be ashamed.
No, wait.
You get whatever you ask for.
Well,
you should be absolutely ashamed.
Well, let me just finish real quick, okay? Please.
What?
Let me just finish. I want to thank you for what you have done for us. And the people, our community doesn't realize that you just don't go out and write a check and say, here, fix this and do that. Most of the time you do, though. But I want to bring it to the fact that, some of us are taxpayers. Most of us are still taxpayers. But I'm trying to get back to the building of the senior center. We're still having a lot of problems over there. And I know it's county and we're city, but is there any way that we could collaborate and both get in the same box and get that thing done and finished? So
I don't know, Fran. You spent most of your time trying to tug at my heartstrings and didn't tell me what you wanted. So tell Toy what you want, what's not working. If something is behind schedule, we'll fix it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
And please, I'm immune.
Well, well, you know, I love my city. I love all you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Very
Now,
much.
I thought you were coming up after listening to, and tears rolling down my cheek, listening to what you have to say, that you wanted special hours at the skateboard park for seniors.
Oh, well, we're talking about that little part of the Heroes Park that's not really being used for anything, that we could maybe use for exercising outside and so forth on the corner of Fern and Jackman. It's not being used for anything, as there's a gazebo there, but mostly the ones that use it are homeless people. It's a little and it's a nice little piece of land, and it's got, plants, and it's nice.
What is she talking about? What?
The corner of Jackman and Fern, across the street from the senior center, right on the corner.
You're talking about, you can use that. What do you want done there?
Well, can we use it? I mean, do we have to ask permission to come and use it, like for exercising?
No, it's a public park.
Oh, okay. Because they've been asking me about that. I said, well, I'm not sure either, because a lot of things go through my fingers, and I don't know sometimes what. So I thought I'd ask. Okay.
Yeah, you can use it.
All
Tell the
right.
drug dealers I said they got to go someplace else.
Okay, well, I'll go
Okay,
after them when I
good.
speak. Thank you very, very much from the bottom of my heart. God bless you all.
Thanks.
And
Okay.
congratulations. Got it coming.
All right, what else we got? That was it.
That was it. Kent's going to close the meeting.
No, there was something else I wanted to bring up. Oh. What? Yes. We are planning to do a very aggressive program of putting cameras all over the city. And so I would like community input into it now instead of after it's done. So who's going to be in charge of that?
You and Jason, you and Jason and I are meeting with the group in 2 weeks, and then Jason's going to determine the implementation.
Okay, put a group together. I want to know what the ACLU has to say about it before I put them up, not after, or we put them up. Excuse me.
We just added
I'm a little
extra-
narcissistic, as my wife reminds me at every opportunity. Now, but I also want this to be a community-wide. So I wanted to, on social media, what we're planning. I want whoever has any input. I want everyone to know that these things are going up before they go up, right? But a year from now, you're not going to be able to commit a crime in this city without us watching you do it. So that's the goal. All right? You good with that?
I'm good with that. Keep in mind, we just added an extra 1,000 cameras to the city with the Ring program.
That's right. That's right in the doors, right? Yeah. And Andy, maybe you can figure out a way to make the cameras artistic. I don't know. But we all need to, start combing our hair better because we're going to be on film every minute of the day. But thanks. What else did I need to cover? Did I need to cover anything else? Skate park cameras. Right. Okay, good. You guys got anything? I would like to congratulate Daryl Doris, who is now 50 pounds lighter than the last time we saw him. No, I won't go there. Ken, would you be so kind as to close the meeting?
Be my pleasure. The city council meeting will be.
Hold on.
Okay.
I want to share my White House visit. Shall I wait?
You want to wait for what? What is this?
It's my invitation to the White House.
Did you already go?
Yes,
You're back?
I'm back.
Damn. Angela went and met with the president in the White House. I didn't get it.
Before or after the election?
I didn't get invited. Was it before or after the election?
Actually, it was before.
Before?
Yes.
So when the president was still sane. Oh,
my gosh.
He's been struggling the past week.
No, I received an invitation from the White House from Intergovernmental Affairs. We met with approximately 6 people on his executive cabinet. We met with the Cabinet Secretary, the U.S. Department of Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke, Secretary Elaine Chao from Transportation, Kellyanne Conway, his senior counselor, we talked with her as well, Andrew Wheeler of the Environmental Protection Agency, Robert Wilkie of the Veterans Affairs, and then lastly, Secretary Jim Hubbard from the Department of Agriculture. So it was an amazing trip. I learned a lot. One of the things that we had discussed was regarding veterans, and that the concern was their medical for them. And they're putting together a system that actually, from the day one of service until they will follow them their lifetime, making sure that all of their medical information is at one place as opposed to being scattered throughout one place or another. If they're able to get that going, that would be just amazing. But it was a wonderful trip. Yeah.
Did you have fun?
Yes, most definitely.
Is he really crazy?
You know, I would actually have to say that he is quite charming, and he's very funny. He tends to say exactly what is on his mind. He had told us that the people that are here in this room right now, you were invited here on purpose, and we'll be having other meetings going forward throughout the year. So
That's wonderful.
yeah,
Hey, you're our go-to girl, right?
I hope so.
Good. That's great. So, how come you guys haven't been invited to see the president?
We're sane.
We.
Okay, good. Which brings up the world changed Tuesday, and I think we should recognize that. But I think Lancaster is positioned extremely well in that we have Kevin McCarthy and we have Katie Hill. Both parties are now represented. I think that we should recognize that this is not about partisan politics. It's about how well we grow this community, and we should be putting those two together as quickly as possible for that purpose. I think this is a good thing for Lancaster, but time will tell, right? Right. But I would hope that all of us recognize this is not about tribal warfare or tribal politics. It's about creating a community where our children can either thrive or fail. And I think now we're in a position that if we deal with these folks appropriately and they deal with us appropriately, this is a great day for us. And especially now that you can call the White House. Seriously, pick up the phone, call them, see what they do. They'll probably take it. You're on a list.
Actually, he said that.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
She can call the president. Hey, who's your favorite mayor?
He's not mayor anymore.
Okay. Kid, would you close the meeting, please?
My pleasure. The city council meeting will be adjourned in the memory of two great men, Mike Dispenza and Walt Byron Troth. Mike Dispenza served on the Palmdale City Council from 1999 to 2016. He owned and operated Mike Dispenza State Farm Agency in Palmdale for 40 years. Mike was involved with the community in a variety of ways, serving as president of the Antelope Valley Underwriters, co-founding the Palmdale Education Foundation, co-chairing 3 Antelope Valley Board of Trade Business Outlook conferences, and founding the Palmdale Sheriff Boosters. Mike touched the lives of many people in the Antelope Valley and will be missed by his family, friends, and the community. Walt Byron Troth served as a member of the first Lancaster Planning Commission when Lancaster was incorporated in 1977 and helped establish the city's first general plan. Walt also served as the director of the Antelope Valley Fair from 1982 to 1990. He was a very active, committed member of the community who gave generously with his time and energy to improve the life in Lancaster. Walt Byron Troth will be greatly missed and leaves behind a great legacy for his family, friends, and the community. The next meeting is scheduled Tuesday, December 11th, 2018 at 5 o'clock. And I turn it back over to you, Mayor.
You're not going to say, Carol, my day is dead and I'm coming home? I'm so glad to hear that. Okay. Let's go.
You have to adjourn it. What? You have to adjourn it.
Oh, it's adjourned.
It's adjourned.